One of the longest-running, most heated debates in modern history is this whole capitalism versus socialism thing. It's a fight that outlasted revolutions, knocked over empires, left superpowers broke, and basically split the world right down the middle. For over 100 years, these weren't just economic ideas, they were like battle cries. Every big speech rallying the troops, every workers' strike, every stock market crash, every sneaky proxy war. It all tied back to this clash, shaping the world we know today. But here's what nobody really talks about. Neither one ever worked exactly like the books said it would. Not once, not anywhere. When things got real tough, wars, famines, runaway inflation, total breakdowns, the cracks showed up big time. This is where money, power, and history all smash together. And trust me, nothing's as cut and dried as it seems. The story kicks off way before anyone even came up with words like capitalism or socialism. For most of human history, there wasn't really an economy, it was just scraping by to survive. Kings ruled because they said God told them to. Landlords owned pretty much everything. Peasants worked their fingers to the bone just to not starve. Progress? It moved slower than a turtle. For thousands of years, life felt like a zero-sum game. If you won, somebody else had to lose. Wealth came from owning land, squeezing labor, or winning wars. Productivity barely budged. The idea that regular folks could get rich through trading or inventing stuff? That would have sounded crazy. Then boom, the Industrial Revolution flipped everything upside down. Late 1700s Britain was like a pressure cooker. Coal, iron, piles of capital, and people hungry for more. Machines took over from muscle power. Workshops turned into factories. Suddenly, private capital had this huge new role. For the first time, ordinary people, not just kings, could invest big, take risks, and own massive chunks of production. Output exploded. Some folks saw their wages go up, but for a lot of others, life got even more miserable. Inequality shot through the roof faster than ever. Cities were choking on smoke. Kids slaved away for 12-hour shifts. Slums turned into disease pits. Yeah, it was ugly, but you couldn't deny it. Capitalism cranked out more stuff, more wealth, more change than the world had ever seen. That's when socialism popped up not as some dreamy ideal, but as a gut reaction to all that capitalist brutality. By the mid-1800s, guys like Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels looked at those smoky factories, the riots, the blood and sweat on the floors, and said, the system's the problem here. They saw profits as stolen labor exploitation dressed up as opportunity. Their fix? Let workers own the factories together, share the gains, plan production for what people actually need, not just for some guy's pocket. No more getting screwed over. No more wild ups and downs. Just smart planning and real fairness. It sounded so logical, so right, and for millions grinding under early capitalism, it felt like justice finally knocking on the door. But hey, ideas on paper are one thing. Real life, that's a whole different beast. The first big try at socialism on a country level wasn't in some debate club, it came out of an empire's ashes. After the 1917 Russian Revolution, Lenin took over a wrecked, mostly illiterate, super backward place. The Tsar was gone. The old rich folks fled or got executed. Now you've got 150 million people in this vast land needing a brand new way to run things. So the Soviets built it. State owns the land, factories, banks, resources. Bureaucrats set prices. Quotas instead of profits. Private biz? Wiped out. On paper, it should have meant perfect equality and smooth sailing. In reality, total mess. No market prices meant planners had no clue what people wanted or how much to make. No competition, no new ideas. No rewards for extra effort, so workers just did the bare minimum. Shortages everywhere, lines for everything, and farming, Russia's backbone, fell into famine. Even Lenin had to backpedal, letting in a bit of private trade to keep the country from falling apart. Still, socialism kept its pull because capitalism wasn't exactly shining either. Early 20th century, capitalist spots grew like crazy, but they were wild and unstable too. Speculation went nuts. Monopolies swallowed industries. Rich lived like kings while millions scraped by. Great at making wealth, lousy at spreading it around. That blew up in 1929. U.S. market crashes, Great Depression hits like a freight train. Banks go under. Unemployment at 25%. Whole country's finances wiped clean. To a lot of people, capitalism didn't look flawed, it looked dead. By the 1930s, the world had to face it. Neither side delivered on the hype. Socialism gave equality but brought shortages. Capitalism gave growth but crashed hard. Then the big test came: World War II. It pushed every economy to the limit. The Soviets, flaws and all, mobilized fast and hard. Central control funneled everything to winning the war. Meanwhile, places like the US turned into production monsters, showing what private smarts plus national push could do. War over, it wasn't about who had the better theory, it was about hard numbers. GDP, roads and buildings, growth, how people lived. From 1945 to 1991, the planet turned into one giant experiment. Soviet side, all planned from the top, state owns it all. No real markets, US and friends. Private biz with rules, plus safety nets from depression lessons. This was the real deal, lived by millions. Results hit hard. Soviets industrialized quick at first. Literacy jumped. More homes. Military powerhouse. But soon, problems piled up. No price clues meant waste everywhere. Factories churned junk to hit quotas. Farms rotted crops. Innovation stalled. 1970s? They could shoot rockets but not make a decent fridge. Capitalism adapted instead. After Depression, rules came in. Bank safeguards, breaking up monopolies, social security, health programs, jobless aid. Not perfect, but tougher. That flexibility won out. 1980s, the gap was huge. West's life got better fast. Soviets stalled. Cold War? Won by results, not talk. Berlin Wall down in 1989, not from bombs, from empty shops, bad incentives, lagging behind. System meant to kill inequality, make new bosses party guys while folks lined up for bread. Planning to beat market mess? Ended up choking itself. Capitalism's win didn't last though. 1990s and 2000s, it changed again. Super financial, global chains, debt everywhere. Inequality back to old-time highs. Companies bigger than countries. Hooked on bubbles. 2008 crash? Like 1929 all over, proving the wobbles never left. Socialism ideas bounced back, not old school rigid, but softer. Tax the rich. Health for all. Free schools, stronger unions. Young people crushed by rent and flat pay started asking if capitalism works for anyone anymore. Now hardly anyone pushes pure versions. History showed the costs too clear. Take Scandinavia, people call it socialist, but nah. Free markets, big private firms, world trade. Plus high taxes, safety nets, tough unions. Capitalism with brakes. US? Innovation king, deep finance but huge gaps, falling apart roads, crazy health costs. China? Wildest mix. Authoritarian capitalism. They say socialism with Chinese twists, but it's private growth under government thumb on key stuff. Look big picture. Every winning economy's a mashup. Markets plus state tweaks. Not 'cause one idea beat the other, life forced mixes. Pure stuff crumbled against real people, greed, fear, teamwork, ideas. Free capitalism turns self-interest to breakthroughs, till it flips to rip-offs. Strict socialism builds unity for equality till it turns stale or controlling. Markets pile power in money, plans pile it in politics. Same human stuff, different wrappers. Real question's not which wins. It's which curbs power abuse best, fixes screw-ups fast, steers people to good stuff. History says, the adaptable one. Capitalism stuck around 'cause it kept changing, from hands-off to New Deal fixes to global tech boom. Stiff socialism tanked where it wouldn't bend. Soviets, Mao China, North Korea. Thrived when it grabbed markets. Scandinavia, China after 78, Europe bits. Incentives count. Capitalism rocks at sparking them. Equality counts. Socialism's good at guarding it. Both got wins, both got wounds. Our world today? Built on those fights, every rule, net, market tweak comes from those messes. Debate's not done, it's shifting. 21st century stuff, AI messes, old populations, climate hits, energy shifts, debt mountains, ignores theories. Hits weaknesses in both. Market capitalism sucks at long plans and keeping folks together. Socialist planning lags on flex and new ideas. Winners'll blend best. Market spark with public backbone. Private pushes with state guides. Freedom plus steady. If last century taught anything, no system's safe without checks. No economy lasts without rewards. No society booms if power or cash piles up too much in tycoons or officials. History didn't pick sides. It picked what stopped crashes. Every generation tweaks that balance. Because the fight was never just capitalism versus socialism. It was always who holds the reins inside: the cash, state, banks, unions, cores, party, watchdogs. Real battle's power. And as history keeps showing, power doesn't vanish. It just switches hands. If this shifted how you see things, hit subscribe. History's got the answers. I'll point you where to look.